70% of high achieving executives are in a sexless marriage. Here's the kicker. The more successful they become at work, the worse it gets at home. You're crushing it in the boardroom, but dying in the bedroom. And today I'm going to show you exactly why. And more importantly, I'll show you how to fix it. Before I explain what's really happening, let me ask you, do you feel more respected at work than at home? Does your wife treat you more like a disappointing father than a husband? Are you working later just to avoid the cold nights? If you're nodding, you're experiencing something called Parental Echo Response. And it's particularly devastating for high achievers because it uses your greatest strength against you. Let me be brutally honest where this leads. Year one, your bedroom becomes a frozen wasteland. You start sleeping separately and the emotional distance grows daily. By year three, you're basically roommates. Your kids sense the tension. Your performance at work starts slipping. At around year five, you're either divorced or dead inside. Your legacy is compromised and your kids learn a broken model of marriage. And the worst part? Your career eventually suffers too because peak performance requires emotional stability at home. Here's what's actually happening. At work, you're decisive, respected, and in control. At home, your wife actively resists your leadership. You try harder using work strategies. She pulls away more. You retreat to work and the cycle deepens. Let me share a quick story. I worked with a CEO, let's call him James. Revenue was up 300% under his leadership. The board loved him, but at home, his wife wouldn't even look at him during dinner. He tried everything: expensive vacations, marriage counseling, working less, being more present. Nothing worked. The reason why is because he was treating symptoms, not the cause. He was using business strategies in his marriage and it was making everything worse. Let me break down exactly how successful executives transform their marriages. This isn't about quick fixes, it's about fundamental change. First, physical presence. And no, I'm not just talking about hitting the gym. Think about it as when you're walking into your boardroom, the energy, that confidence, it's about owning your space. But here's what most guys miss. They work out, but they still carry themselves like they're apologizing for existing. They dress well, but they hunch over their phone all day. They make 7 figures, but they can't look at their wife in the eye during dinner. Now, true physical presence means moving with purpose, not just at work, but everywhere. Carrying yourself like you own every room you enter and developing a quiet strength that commands respect without saying a word. Secondly, mental mastery. This is where most marriage advice completely misses the mark. You didn't become successful by accident. You understand systems, patterns, cause and effect. But in your marriage, you're operating blind, and here's what you need to master. Reading situations before they explode. Understanding why your wife tests you, and yes, those are tests. Recognizing when you are being manipulated versus when you are being respected. Building responses that strengthen rather than weaken your position. It's like chess. Once you see the board clearly, every move makes sense. Finally, emotional authority. This is a real game changer. Most executives get this backwards. They think showing emotion means being weak, or they swing the other way and try to be therapists. Both are wrong. Real emotional authority means being unshakable without being cold, showing emotion without seeking validation, leading through strength, not force, creating space for intimacy without desperately seeking it. Let me give you a concrete example. One of my clients as CFO was consistently fighting with his wife about working late. The more she complained, the more he explained himself. The more he explained, the less she respected him. Here's how he applied these principles. Physical presence. He stopped consistently being apologetic at home, started walking with purpose, maintained strong eye contact during conversations. And then when it comes to mental mastery, he recognized the patterns of her testing his confidence. He stopped defending his schedule, and then he started leading conversations instead of reacting. With emotional authority, he showed affection from strength, not neediness. He remained calm during emotional storms and then created boundaries without creating walls. Within weeks, his wife stopped complaining about his hours. Within months, she was bragging about his success to her friends. The hours hadn't changed, but his presence had. This isn't magic. It's not manipulation. It's about becoming the kind of man who naturally commands respect and attraction. The kind of men you already are at work, but need to be at home. When executives break this pattern, everything changes. Their wives start responding differently. The physical intimacy returns naturally. Leadership actually improves and they finally feel whole instead of disjointed. Remember James? Once he understood these patterns, his whole approach changed. Within months, his wife was looking at him differently, not because he was doing more, but because he was being more. Here's the truth. Every day you ignore this pattern, it gets harder to break. Every time you work harder to prove yourself, it actually makes it worse. And unlike business problems, this won't fix itself with time. If you're ready to break this pattern, comment pattern below and get a free guide. Breaking the Parental Echo Response is an executive's road. This isn't generic advice. This is specifically for men who have mastered business but struggle at home. In the next video, I'll show you the exact first step these executives take to break free. Subscribe and hit the bell notification so you don't miss it. Remember, the pattern is just the beginning. The real question is, what are you going to do about it?